Tonight, the I-Team is looking for solutions to get help for Texas students. Many right now are in need of mental health help with depression, even suicidal thoughts for some, especially among teenage girls. According to the CDC, over 40% of students in 2021 felt persistently sad or hopeless. Investigative reporter Brian New joining us live tonight from Dallas. Brian, we know we're not going to fix this in 3, 4, 5 minutes on television. There's no simple fix for this.
No, there's not, Doug, but something needs to be done. According to Mental Health America, 3 out of every 4 Texas children with depression don't receive any mental health treatment. And so as we traveled the state looking for solutions, mental health professionals told us perhaps the best place to start in helping children is in our schools.
When Dylan Crow is stressed, anxious, depressed, these days he finds comfort in writing about it. But that wasn't always the case. For Crow, his struggles with mental health started when he was 15, a freshman in high school.
I started feeling depressed and suicidal.
At the time, he also started having hallucinations.
I was scared because it wouldn't go away, and I felt like I couldn't move, like I was having sleep paralysis or something.
Crow was eventually diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, a mental condition with symptoms of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. Over the course of the next 5 years, Crow went to 4 different high schools, with long stretches in between at mental health facilities. Crow says every time he went to a new school, there wasn't the help he needed.
They tried to have the resources, but there's just so many kids. I know this sounds really hard to do, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they could hire more counselors.
According to the American School Counselors Association, for every 10,000 students, there needs to be 40 counselors. In Texas schools, there's 25. The National Association of School Psychologists says for every 10,000 students, there needs to be 20 school psychologists. In Texas schools, there's less than 4. Outside of school, finding mental health help in Texas is often just as difficult. 80% of Texas counties are designated as mental health professional shortage areas.
So I don't know if we're ever going to get to where we don't have any mental health shortage.
Dr. David Lakey is the head of the state's Child Mental Health Consortium. He says one way the state is trying to make sure all students get the mental health help they need is by offering telehealth services. The program is called T-Chat. It is now in more than 600 school districts across the state and has been used by more than 20,000 students, many who otherwise might not have had any access to mental health services.
The standard waiting period to get into a child and adolescent psychiatrist in the state of Texas, is about 6 months, and we're able to get these services to kids right away.
But despite the state offering this program for free to Texas schools, not every school district has signed up for it.
There are still nearly 400 school districts in Texas that have not enrolled in T-Chat. Why is that?
I think it's the natural growth of this program. Again, I would remind us that the first kids that were seen in T-Chat were in the spring of 2020. And so we're just 3 years into this program.
Are you concerned about those districts?
Yes. Yeah, we're concerned about those.
But even in districts that have enrolled in the T-Chat program, school officials say this program alone won't solve all the issues with the mental health professional shortage. And so some schools are thinking outside the box. Here in the rural district of Sanger ISD, school officials are turning to students to help each other.
I think a lot of students have lost the capacity, or maybe are not learning it, to resolve smaller situations.
Ann Hughes has been the director of student behavior in Sanger ISD for 23 years, and every year she looks for new ways to improve students' mental health. One year she started a student-run free grocery store. Another year she turned a traditional classroom into a stress-reducing movement room. This year she's starting a teen court program at the high school and a peer-to-peer mediation program at the middle school. Hughes says these new programs will teach students to resolve minor problems themselves and thus free up the school's limited mental health professionals.
Having those programs really opens the door for counselors to be able to spend a lot more time with the more involved students who really need professional guidance and professional support.
Sanger ISD has a track record of success when it comes to mental health. Just ask Dylan Crow.
I'm so grateful for the teachers and everybody who've pushed me.
When Crow enrolled at Linda Tutt High School in Sanger, his 5th high school in as many years, he says he finally found the support he needed. The school even has a designated room known as the chill room, where he goes to calm down and refocus. Crow is on track to graduate in the spring, and for the first time in years, he says he's happy.
Where would you be without the school?
Can I be like really honest?
Honest.
Honestly, without the school, I don't think I would be alive.
We have to do what we can with what we have. That's just the reality of any profession. And then try to find ways that are creative and innovative to meet the gaps.
Now, ultimately, state officials say the best way to address the mental health professional shortage is by expanding the workforce. The state is trying to do this through creating more training opportunities and expanding student loan forgiveness programs. Neither, however, Doug, are quick fixes.
Yeah, so the T-Chat program specifically seems to be such a good option. I remember the very first story you did on this. I'm curious, in researching for the story for tonight, did you get any sense of why some school districts haven't signed up for it? What's the hesitation?
Yeah, so there's not a single reason why school districts haven't signed up for T-Chat. Some have said that they simply feel like they have enough mental health resources for their students. Others, however, told Dr. Lakey that they are still going to wait and see how the program works in other districts before considering signing up.
All right, Brian New, thank you. Going in depth tonight, we appreciate it. If you or someone you know is in need of any kind of mental health support, do not forget, you can call, you can text. They make it easy. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, anytime. If you just need to communicate, it's at 988, those 3 simple numbers. Or if you'd like to chat online with a counselor, you can do that as well. That's 988lifeline.org.